Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy GMike Perez, aka GMike, and y'all already know what it is, baby. Back with another episode of the G Perspective. This week, bringing on an old guest, Lorenzo, aka Jonnysayword, rapper out of Miami, working with the Miami Heat, baby, in the videography and photography department, doing what it does, making big moves out there. This week, we're going into the Terry Rozier trade to the Miami Heat. And we go to the Vic Fangio and Miami Dolphins parted ways, and the NFL Divisional results and NFL Conference Finals predictions. Before we get into it, follow me on my socials on Twitter at GMike Perez, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at GMike Media _. The audio version of the podcast is available on all podcast platforms, and the video version is on YouTube. And also, if you guys are into sports gambling, I run a Telegram channel where we get everyone to win $25, $50 to $100 a day, only paying $5 a month with our winning slips daily. So the link will be on the bottom of the screen. You could put that into your Safari apps on your iPhones, or if you got Android or whatever service you got there, whatever browser you got there. I don't know. I'm an iPhone gang over here. But yeah, you put it in there, or if not, just hit me up on my socials, DM, send me a little quick convo, and we'll get you started. But for now, let's get into the episode, baby. Jonathan Lorenzo, aka Jonnysayword. Woo! We started in the G Perspective today, baby. How you doing?
Yes, sir. What's good, man? How you doing?
Good, man. You know me, man. Living lavish, working hard, and I know you're doing the same. Every day,
yes,
you grind. You probably sleep like 2 hours a day, for sure. I can see it in your eyes.
I try to get in about 5 at least.
About 5? I mean, that's pretty good.
At least 5.
That's pretty good, man. A lot of people think that you need like 8, like a full-on 8. And honestly, like, I think we really need like 6. I don't even think we need 8 like that. Sometimes I feel sluggish after 8. What you think?
Yeah, I think after too much sleep, you get sluggish. There's a balance. I think it's somewhere between like 6 and 8. Like that's the ideal. Mm-hmm. But I'd be finding that like 5, 6 is what I do.
No, especially us right now, how busy we are, bro. Like, I think it's tough for us to actually get a day to sleep in. And I don't know about you, but me, when I get a day to sleep in and I don't put an alarm or anything, and let's say rarely, but let's say I sleep like 10 hours, bro, I wake up and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. It feels weird. It feels different.
Yeah, for sure. If I sleep too much, I feel like I wasted too much of the day. I try to get only a couple hours of sleep, but that fucks me over when I fall asleep at 5 a.m. and I wake up at 10, 11 a.m. because then I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's the worst. But man, we here. We working every day, baby. We're blessed to wake up another day, you know, and be able to get this grind on, man. And you know what we also blessed about, man? Fucking Pat Riley finally making moves for the damn Miami Heat, man.
Yes,
and I know you in the locker room, you close in the locker room, you're doing a little videography and photography in the background and stuff. And I know you can't give us all the ins and outs of what's going on, but for the fans out there, what I'm talking about is the Miami Heat traded away Kyle Lowry and a 2027 first round unprotected pick for the man in Charlotte that was scoring 29 points per game in one season. This season, I think it was like 23, 24 around there. Yeah. Terry Rozier, certified sniper, coming to the Heat, baby. How you feeling about that move that we made?
I feel great about it. I think it's a great move. We got Scary Terry in the building. I know when we used to face him when he was in Boston, I used to hate playing against him. So,
Thanks.
Now having somebody that fits I know some people look at it as corny, but he fits the Heat culture. He's gonna play defense. He's gonna do whatever is asked of his role. And now we have another 20+ point per game scorer on the team. I think that like our biggest downfall over the years has been not being able to put up enough points. And I feel like you can never, in today's NBA, you can never have enough players that can go get a bucket. So I think having, Terry Rozier is going to be great. We're younger at the position. He's going to be playing defense. The only question is how he fits with the other four or three 20-point per game scorers we got, which is Tyler, Bam, and Jimmy.
Yep.
But I think he's gonna do. I think he's gonna do great. It's just up to, time will tell. We'll see what comes with the new addition to the team.
Yeah. I think he'll fit great in our culture. And I know I've seen Shaq and I've seen other people say that he won't fit good with us. But honestly, man, like he said it himself while he was growing up. He was a big time fan of Dwayne Wade. And obviously, if you're a fan of a player, you're going to be a fan of the team. So he was a Miami Heat fan as well. And it just comes around full circle. He comes to a team that he actually loves since he was a kid. And now he gets to come on the court and play for us, play in front of the fans. And, he show his love and appreciation on the court. And he's been there for 2 games already. It's not a good stretch because we're on a 5-game losing streak right now. It's really it's really horrible what we're seeing out there, But I think time will tell what's up. But just for the move itself, man, Kyle Lowry, when he came in, we thought he was going to give us a championship pedigree, and he kind of did. He helped us with playoff runs. He helped us get to the finals. I'm pretty sure that leadership and the mentality in the locker room really helped out the younger players. Maybe not Jimmy, maybe not UD, obviously, maybe not Kevin Love, but like the other players, that haven't really been there. And either it was their first time or second time going to the finals. It's a different run. We got to be appreciative of what he did, but he didn't give us everything that we needed. And what we needed was another big-time scorer. This is why we wanted to go for Damian Lillard. This is why we wanted to go to Donovan Mitchell. And we bring in a scorer like Terry Rozier. Yeah, he's not an all-star caliber player. He's not a 25 per game every season player, but he can help us get 20 points a game in crucial moments, and especially when he fits into the Heat culture, playing good defense like you said, and also giving us 20 points per game, which is the only thing that we really needed, is another scorer out there. And I think he'll help us. But some people saying he's not going to help us move the needle when it comes to trying to win a championship, because we've gone to the finals. We were there last year. But we need the trophy. What do you think? You think he'll help us move the needle and try to get us there?
I think so. I think I think the needle moves a lot in this trade. Like, I know he's not the biggest, name as far as who he is, but I think that having that extra guy that you can, if Tyler's having a bad night, if Jimmy's not, looking to score or whatever the situation is on the court, I feel like now you have another guy that can fill that role. And I feel like that's what you need to win a championship. Like, if you see Denver last year, yeah, they had Jokic. He's arguably the best player in the NBA. But you had Jamal Murray, who could go get you 20, 30 points any night. You had Aaron Gordon that could go get you 20 points in a night. You had Michael Porter Jr. You had their rookie, Braun, that was like hooping and giving them 15 to 20 points a night. Like, you're not going to beat the days of beating an NBA team with 3 amazing players and a cast of, people cheering on the top 3. Like, that's not today's NBA anymore. So you need at least 4 to 5 guys that can legitimately go get you 20 points in a game. And I think that with what we have somebody like Duncan can get you 20 points. Terry Rozier can get you 20 points. Hero, Bam, Jimmy, Jaime, and then, even further down, Caleb can get you 20. I think we have like at least 7 to 8 guys that can legitimately get you 20 points in a game, and it not be like, oh shit, damn, he had 20 points. Like, so I think for us, it was important to get that extra player that can not only get you the 20 points, but is willing to go guard the other team's best point guard or best shooting guard. Like, now we have somebody that we can throw at a Drew Holiday and not take Jimmy off of Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. We can throw him at a Maxey. We can throw him at a Donovan Mitchell maybe. Like there's going to be now teams where we don't have to worry about the point guard position because as today's NBA, the point guard position is very dynamic. If you got a really good point guard, most likely you're going to be going deep into the finals or you're going to be in the finals. So it's like now we have somebody that can kind of guard that position and leave everybody else kind of true to their position and kind of like, I think that's going to be the biggest adjustment for him maybe is getting into our defensive scheme and like our rotations and, once that gets mapped out and, we get back on that string that we're used to playing on, I think it's definitely going to move the needle in a positive direction.
Yeah, I agree. I think it will move the needle, especially on the point guard position, because I agree with what you're saying. Like, I don't think we got to worry about that no more when it comes to the point guard position. Just for us, though, I think what we still have to worry about and what we should make moves in the trade deadline is when it comes to rebounding. And the number one person that just comes up to mind right now, yeah, there's other prospects for sure that I haven't really thought of, but right now that just comes up to mind would be Andre Drummond. I would love to trade for Andre Drummond to have him as a backup with Bam or even start him alongside with Bam just to get rebounds, bro, because we're getting killed on the rebound game defensively and offensively. And if it's on offense, that means the other team is getting second chance points on one possession, and we can't have that. We need someone who's going to grab the ball and dish it out to someone who's going to go out there and score, like a Caleb, a Jimmy, a Bam, a Hero, a Rozier, etc. We can't have teams getting offensive boards so much that we're getting ranked to the bottom of the league when it comes to getting the defensive boards. Because if not, we're just going to keep losing. We're going to keep losing. And we saw it in the finals. You got Jokic, you got Aaron Gordon, you got Michael Porter Jr., you got even KCP grabbing rebounds like left and right, and we couldn't do anything about it. Like, if they're getting too many second chance points, at the end of the day, ultimately, we're going to lose, and it's not going to be good for us.
Yeah. No, I agree. I feel like Jaime being hurt has kind of helped our rebounding a little too. I think for his position, he's very good as a rebounder. Like he's always going to try and get his own rebound if he's putting up a gimme layup or a little float or whatever. He's always going to jump back up to try and get his rebound, give it like a putback shot. But I definitely think we need the bodies because we play small. We have even when we have Jovic in. He's like a stretch big. He's not really in there like, pounding with the big guys and trying to like get the boards. He's more trying to stretch out the defense and like, you know, put up a 3-point shot or do a little jump shot. So I think getting a true big has been something that we've needed for years. Like it hasn't been just this year. It's been a need ever since I guess like we got rid of Whiteside. I know like he's not the best in Heat history, but that was our last kind of like center that we went for, like true center that we went for as like, okay, this is a position we need to fill. Since then, it's been Bam at the center. And although Bam is adapted and I think he's become a great center for what he truly is, because he's more of a forward than a center. But he's held it down, and it's like you can only ask so much of a 6'9", 6'10" forward to be playing center. You know, it's like eventually there's going to be holes, and it's not to say that Bam's not good enough. It's just that it can't just be him jumping up for rebounds, and you know the rest of the team is a lot smaller. So it's not that they're not trying, because obviously that's part of what we are as a team, is that we go for loose balls, we fight for those 50-50 balls, but it's just eventually there's limitations, and it's like you need bigger bodies on the floor to, you know, it's going to come down the line where we're going to have to play the Celtics, and now they got Porzingis this year, and it's like, all right, Bam can bang with Porzingis, but then you still got Jason Tatum, who's about 6'9", 6'10".
Grabbing
You
a lot
got
of
Jaylen
rebounds this
Brown,
year
who's
too.
big. Yeah, exactly. So it's like there's only so much one person can do, and we're going to need the extra bodies. Thomas Bryant has been, you know, okay so far this year, and I
Mid.
think he's going to, you know, hopefully get more opportunities, but I think we definitely need to get bigger as far as like size.
Yeah, facts. Well, man, there's a lot of season left. We still have the trade deadline coming up soon, so hopefully we
Yeah.
make some moves there. We still got a second half of the season, and you know that's when Jimmy turns it on. Right now, I
Yeah.
feel like he's still on cruise control. If you're a
But
real
he's
true,
coasting.
exactly. If you're a true Miami Heat fan and a true NBA fan that looks at every team's, you know right now that Jimmy's just chilling. He's not
Yeah.
going full throttle.
Yeah.
So we're excited to see what's coming up, man. Excited for the playoffs. I know we're gonna be in there no matter what. Maybe third or
Yeah.
fourth seed. Who knows? But yeah, man, pretty dope. Pretty dope.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's move on to your other team, bro. The Miami Dolphins, because there's news coming
Damn.
out that came out a few days ago. Uh, the Miami Dolphins and the defensive coordinator Vic Fangio have decided to part ways because Vic wants to be closer to home, which is in Pennsylvania. So most likely he's gonna be working for the Philadelphia Eagles. How are you feeling
Yeah.
about that? Losing your defensive coordinator right now.
Hey man. Nah. Honestly, like from an outside perspective, watching the season, I couldn't tell that there was an issue with the defense and the defensive coordinator. Like I wouldn't have been able to say like, oh yeah, that point to that and be like, that's that relationship, that's the problem. Like I think even watching Hard Knocks, now that I know, if I go back and like I see, maybe there is some instances where stuff like that shows. A lot of the secondary wasn't really in Hard Knocks. Fangio wasn't in Hard Knocks like that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there was some turbulence there. And for me, it's whatever's going to make the team better. I know that Fangio is a great coordinator, but if for some reason he's not clicking with the defense, then it's like, I'm happy that McDaniel is listening to his players. And although that's like a fine line, you can't just do whatever players want you to do. But if you have a big amount of your defense coming up to you in your end of season review and they're telling you that like, yo, this guy was a problem. Like he wasn't using us correctly. And it's more if it's one person not getting playing time, all right, like you can kind of like, oh, he didn't play me. I would have made a difference. So like, okay, that's cool, that's cute.
Sure,
But it's
maybe,
like, yeah,
maybe.
sure. But you got legitimate starters coming up to you. You got players that are getting like real playing time, and there's more than one of them that are coming up to you saying that there's an issue. You have to listen to them. You have to,
Mhm.
unless you're planning on getting rid of your whole defense and sticking by Fangio. But if not, you're setting yourself up for another season of turbulence and another season of like he's still not, like. And I'm sure those conversations happened throughout the year. It wasn't just brought up on the end of season review. I'm sure there was moments where it was like after a bad game, after a bad whatever, where there was things that were said, and it's like, as a head coach, you got to kind of let things play out, and you got to like give both parties the chance to prove themselves. And I think, seeing how the season ended, obviously defensively, because we were hurt in the playoffs, but I think
And the
even
beginning of the year.
and the beginning of the year, yeah. So when we picked, that's why I'm saying from the outside, I wouldn't have been able to tell because we were a top five defense when we were healthy. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like there's no issues. But even like going down the stretch, like losing to Tennessee, even though that was I feel like more of an offensive loss than a defensive loss, even though not really, they allowed two touchdowns,
I was more
in the
of
last few minutes of
like
the
a
game.
hurt right there, bro. That loss, I
Yeah.
think that really like downtrended you guys.
Dude, that affected our whole season. And people were like,
Yeah,
"Oh, whatever, it was one loss," but no, that game, had we won that game, that last game against Buffalo, we could have rested our starters
exactly. You
and
would have had the
still
second seed.
clinched second place.
Yep.
So it's like every game matters in the NFL, and I think after that game, the way we were losing games was just not like it's not okay. Like to Baltimore, as an offense, you only put up 19 points. Okay, cool. Baltimore's defense is nice. Y'all struggled, whatever. But for your defense to allow 50 something points, like there's got to be a better effort than that. Like if you're
Yeah.
talking 30 to 19, okay, cool. Like they're a great team. They're going to put up their points. 50 something points, like those kind of outings show effort, that it's like they beat us to the point where we were not even trying anymore. We were like, oh, they got it. Like, and that's not a good sign from a team that, you're supposed to play that team down the road. If you're the team that you say you are, you're gonna have to play that team again to go to a Super Bowl. And
Mm-hmm.
you're basically waving the white flag and being like, yeah, y'all own us. And it's like, no, like you gotta see more than that. So I think it's good. It sucks because Vangio, like schematic wise, like he's one of the best in the NFL, for sure. And I think we have a lot of weapons, but that's why I'm also not too upset about it is because we have a lot of weapons, and whatever coordinator steps into that position, it's gonna be like a kid at a toy store. He's gonna have Javon Holland, Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard. Hopefully by
Maybe.
next year we'll get Phillips back. We'll get Bradley Chubb. We have
You got to
Chris
re-sign
Wilson.
Wilkins.
Bro, the list goes on. Like I think we have a solid top tier defense where legitimately all of our starters, like nine of them or eight of them are gonna be like all pro starters,
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it. I'm ready to run it back next year with our defense and just, I heard what's this guy's name? The head coach from the Chargers, the one that got fired, Brandon Staley, is that his name?
Yeah.
I've heard his name. I'm not too much of a fan just because I saw like him as a head coach, but I know that being a coordinator and a coach is very different. So
And he's a defensive coordinator before
and,
he
and
was
yeah,
head
that's how
coach.
he got his head coaching job was
Yeah.
through being a defensive coordinator. And Chargers defense has been, decent throughout the past couple of years. So I mean, we'll see. I know there's other names that are circulating out there, but I think whoever gets the job, uh, is I think is going to do well because we're setting them up for success. The pieces we have in play are, it's plug and play.
Yeah, just speaking on the Vic Fangio, before he got with the Dolphins, because he was talking to several teams, and one of the teams was Philadelphia because it was closer to home. So just speaking on that situation, like if you're a player or a coach in a professional sports league, and you want to be closer to home, bro. I totally 100% agree with that. Like, cause like if I was a Miami Heat player, if I was a Miami Dolphins player, I'm sorry, if I was an NBA player, or NFL player, I would want to play for the Miami Dolphins or the Miami Heat because it's closer to home. Be around
Yeah,
the family, be around my friends, and
yeah,
all
of
that stuff.
course.
So like on that part, I get it. Like if you told the Dolphins, like, yo, look, like we had a great season, whatever. But look, I honestly want to be closer to my family. Like I just want to get out of here and this and that. Like whatever,
Yeah,
man. Like no bad blood, whatever. It is what it is. For the
yeah,
team itself, I agree. He is one of the top defensive coordinators in the NFL, and it can hurt you guys, especially with who you bring in next. But I also see a great opportunity because I've been hearing around the league and seeing a lot of sources and all this stuff that Bill Belichick keeps interviewing for head coaching jobs everywhere, and people don't
yeah.
really want him as a head coach. And if Bill Belichick can swallow his pride and go down
Oh,
to a defensive coordinator, I think he will be a great fit for you guys. And
hell
especially
yeah.
that he's in the same division of the New England Patriots. He gets to face them twice a year and go and show that, yo, like you guys, we parted ways and stuff. It's a mutual agreement, but like now I want to whoop your ass. Now I want to show
Yeah,
you that like how I could turn a whole different team's defense into a star-studded Super Bowl defense that can stop you guys from scoring any given Sunday. So I
yeah,
think it will be a great opportunity for you guys to try to go for Bill Belichick. Again,
yeah,
that's if he swallows his pride and doesn't want to be a head coach, because that's right there.
yeah,
That's moral, bro. You're talking about
yeah.
20 seasons, 21 seasons, being a head coach, winning
And
seven
not
Super
just a head
Bowls.
coach, like almost like a coach owner. Like he
Yeah,
was
type
he was more than a
shit.
head
Yeah,
coach
facts,
of the Patriots.
facts. So like that's just on his part. If he wants to swallow his pride, I think that would be a great fit for him. But
Yeah,
there's still other head coaching vacancies that are out there. So we'll see what's up. But just with the Dolphins, man, I think you guys are gonna be straight. I think your defense is really good or really talented. But at the end of the day, man, a lot of people don't think that coaching has to do a lot. Bro, coaching has to do with everything, bro.
yeah,
Culture, how you run plays, how you do
yeah,
in-game adjustments. Like, if you don't have a top-notch coach on either side of the ball, you're not gonna be a good team. Look at the Carolina
yeah,
Panthers. Like,
yeah,
like they're a complete crap. Like, dude,
yeah,
like you gotta at least have one side that's good to at least get you some wins. Try to get above
yeah.
average of your record, but we'll see what's
Nah,
up,
yeah.
man. I think you guys are gonna be straight. I think you definitely should resign. Your top priority should be to resign Christian Wilkins. That guy is a
Yes.
stud. Xavier Howard, I think he's gonna be out of there in my opinion. I don't think they're gonna try and re-sign him. I think they already re-signed him once, right? Correct?
Yeah, I think they re-signed him. I want to say like right around when we first got Tua. I think they
Yeah,
re-signed
yeah, I think
to
so.
like a big contract.
And he's injury prone. Is another thing. He
Yeah,
every year he gets injured. I know
yeah,
maybe some years it's just like 4 or 5 games, but still 4 or 5 games. Like we mentioned, bro, with the Titans, like
one
one
game is
game
enough
changes
to
the whole
matter. Yeah,
season, bro.
yeah.
Just because of that game, you guys had to go to KC and play in negative 22 degrees.
Oh my
And
God.
dude, you guys are not used to that. You guys, the first half of that game, you guys couldn't even tackle. like,
Yeah,
like, dude,
no,
it's
thanks.
different, man. It's different. So but I think you guys are gonna be straight for sure. I think Mike McDaniels knows exactly what the fuck he's doing, especially with the offense.
Yeah.
You know, he knows what he's doing. You just got to bring in
And
another guy
I
that's gonna
think
help with the
honestly,
defense.
like that's something that maybe hurt in the Fangio situation is that the personalities clashed. That's why I don't. Although like Belichick, I feel like schematically, one, I don't think he'll ever swallow his pride to become a defensive coordinator. Hell no. That he'll either be a head coach or he'll call it a career. I don't think he'll. If he were
Maybe.
to, I think schematically it would be good, but then also you got to think about like the dynamics of like the locker room and the personality. Like McDaniel's is, I don't know if you've seen Hard Knocks,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
bro, his personality is nothing like any other coach in the NBA. Like
yeah.
it's
He's
almost
one
like
of the
a
guys.
corny,
He's one of the guys.
yeah, he's one of the guys, but he's also like a corny dad, and like he's so like the jokes he be saying and
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And then you have somebody like Fangio that was very old school. Like he's not out there acting like that. So I feel like it almost creates this like like in high school or whatever, you got like your favorite teachers. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
imagine you got like your two favorite teachers in one day, and then you got that one teacher that you can't stand for your life. Like
At the
it's
end of the
always
day.
yeah, at the end of the day, it's always gonna change your mood. It's always
Yeah,
gonna make
facts.
you like, fuck, bro, like I don't want to do this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel that might have been the dynamic where it was like you have this two polar opposite like personalities and kind of like how that balance, some would say it's good to have that balance, but then I think it also could have been a problem because it's two extremes. And I feel like having Belichick in as a defensive coordinator would be very like imagine the defensive coordinator room, like the defensive room versus like the offensive room. Like I feel like the way it would be ran would be so different that it's almost like the defense will start looking at the offense like, oh, they're not practicing hard enough or they're not doing their shit how they're out here practicing touchdown celebrations. Like you just have to have the right dynamic where the locker room as a whole kind of feels unified versus everybody's on a different page, and then that's where like the feelings and the emotions start to come out, and or the resentment, like, oh, why can't Fangio let us practice defensive celebrations, like we want to have fun, like whatever it is, like you got to kind of find someone that has, I think for McDaniel, like his goal is that he's got to find someone that has both, someone that can kind of match his energy but also bring something new to the side of the ball that's like that he can't provide or that other coordinators can't provide. So I think it's going to be about the mix. Like that's what I'm excited for, and I feel like if we get that, that's where we can kind of unlock what the team can like truly be. I want to
Yeah,
see
I hear.
Miami games in January. I don't want to be in no
Yeah, facts.
goddamn Kansas City.
Facts. Facts. No, I hear what you're saying, and it makes total sense for sure. I just feel like with a championship pedigree coach like that, I think you take the chance, bro. If he gives you the
Oh
chance,
yeah.
if he says, "Yo, I
If he
want to
says
come,"
yes, yeah,
you
run
gotta take the
for
chance.
sure,
You gotta take the
for
chance, bro.
sure,
Whatever. If it goes to
for
shit,
sure.
it is what it is. But you gotta take
Yeah,
that chance. I feel like that's like passing up on an opportunity to drive a Lamborghini because you're like, damn, I don't know if I could drive it. I don't think I could drive it. I don't think I could go that fast. Well,
yeah.
you don't really gonna know what's up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
You
gotta
better get the
try it
Lambo and
out.
drive the speed limit.
Yeah, dog. You better try it out. You better get in the car. You better turn that shit
Yeah,
on. Like
facts.
I don't know, man. I think for sure you should take the opportunity, but we'll see, man. We'll
To
see.
me, that would also be like Popovich joining Eric Spoelstra's coaching staff.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I
no,
don't, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
feel you. I feel you. No, facts, facts. I don't think Popovich will just like. I kind of don't think Belichick will do that, but I'm
yeah, I
just trying
don't.
to give
Yeah,
you a little optimism. But
yeah, yeah, for sure.
but yeah, I don't
Or
think
like
that they're gonna
Russell
go that way.
Westbrook coming off the bench, like all these like people who are so great for so
Well, no, he
long.
did.
Well, he did. Yeah, and although it's always the right decision, it's so much pride that
Yeah,
goes
it's the
into it
pride. It's
that
the
a lot
pride.
of
Exactly.
times the right decision doesn't get made. Like Melo should have been coming off the bench years. He rather had been out the league than come off the bench. And then he ends up coming back and having a successful last couple years of his career. But it's like it's always the right move, but just people are too prideful to make it's hard to look at yourself and be like, damn, you know what? Maybe I don't got it anymore. Maybe I don't
Yeah,
got
facts.
what it takes to be number one. But could I be number five? Could I be number two? Like, yeah, for sure. But that's hard for people to look in the mirror and say that about themselves.
Yeah, facts, facts. Oh man, we'll see what's up, bro. I mean, we still got a lot of time for the off season, so we'll see where
Yeah.
Belichick ends up. We'll see where you guys go with
He should have
defensive
went to the
coordinator.
Cowboys, but
Man,
y'all want to act like McCarthy's the answer.
man, I don't know what the fuck is the answer, bro. I just know that our secondary played like shit in that fucking wild card game. That's all I know.
Speaking of the wild card,
Speaking of the wild card, the Baltimore Ravens and the Texans advanced to the divisional round, and they played each other in the divisional round. It was a great game, bro. Well, on Baltimore side, because
Action Jackson, boy.
the Texans on offense could not do anything. Ravens defense was just cluster fucking the fuck out of fucking Houston. They were rushing C.J. Stroud so many times it was hard for him to get actual passes off.
Yeah.
That defense was just like really unstoppable. What you see going from this game?
What did I see from the game?
Yeah, like what you thought about the game? Like
Yeah,
you thought it could have been maybe a better game, or maybe you thought it was going to be more close, or you just thought the Ravens
no,
were
I
going to
mean,
dominate like they did.
yeah. Honestly, I thought I thought what happened was what was supposed to happen. I think when you have a rookie quarterback coming in and you have a team that has kind of already been in that position before, like the Ravens have been in a divisional game. They've lost, but they've been there. So it's like I feel like obviously you learn more from a loss, so you know what not to do. You know how maybe not taking an opponent as serious, like what that can do to a team. So I think they prepared very much as if like this was an AFC championship game. Like the Texans
Yeah,
were coming in and trying to steal their ticket to a Super Bowl, and they came out and they dominated. They really in all facets of the game, offense, defense, special teams, they played lights out. And I think the Texans did their best. I think CJ Stroud had a great first game. I think he's on pace to have a great career. I think he's a great young quarterback.
offensive rookie
I
of the
was I
year.
was actually having a debate about. I think this was probably maybe before the Cowboys game with the Dolphins Cowboys, and
Uh,
we were having a conversation about Tua and like where he ranks in the NFL, and they were throwing out names like C.J. Stroud and Jared Goff and how they were better than Tua, and I was insulted. I was like, bro, how are you gonna say Jared Goff and C.J. Stroud are better than Tua? And it's like, then both of those quarterbacks kind of go out and prove that they can be an elite quarterback or a quarterback that gets you deep into the playoffs. Not saying that Tua can't be, but I think this was a year for CJ Stroud, even though it's his first year, that it's like you can put the league on notice. And I think he did that. I think he put the league on like, this is my first year, this is what I'm learning, this is what I've learned, and this is where I'm at already, and it's only up from here.
yeah,
Um so I think the Texans did what they had to do in kind of getting to the second round, getting closer as a team, learning what it takes, which is where the Ravens were a couple years ago. They had a young quarterback like Lamar Jackson. They, trying to figure it out, trying to see what they got to do. And I think they have a similar trajectory where in the next 3 to 5 years, you might fuck around and see the Texans in an AFC championship game or fighting for a chance at a Super Bowl. So I think both teams kind of are where they're supposed to be.
yeah.
And, their future looks bright.
So, from my analytical standpoint of the game, I think for sure the Baltimore Ravens just pressured C.J. Stroud way too much. He couldn't really handle it, and especially the offensive line, they couldn't stop Roquan Smith. They couldn't stop Patrick McQueen. They couldn't stop Jadavion Clowney. Like they were just
Yeah.
getting to the quarterback so many fucking times, and it's not like they got so many sacks, but dude, like this guy was getting pressured every single time, like almost every
Yeah.
single time, like 80% of the game, and he had to roll out at least 80% of the game. And if you're rolling out, man, it's tough to actually get some players on stride, some receivers to get to exactly where you're going to, because if not, you got to throw across body across the field, and that throw is not going to be as precise as you would as just standing in the pocket, so you might throw a pick.
Yeah.
And, it's just tough. And then on the offensive side for Baltimore, I love the fact that they gave the keys to Lamar to actually be the playmaker of the game. This, bro, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. He rushed for 100 yards. He threw for 152 yards. Not that great of passing yards, but that's because he ran 100 yards.
Yeah,
and he was just taking over that game, bro. And I love the fact they gave him the keys to the Lambo, and they were like, yo, man, look, you drive as fast as you can. You do whatever you got to do. You get us there. And that's exactly what he did, bro. He put the team on his back on offense. Obviously, the defense did what they had to do, because if the defense didn't do what they had to do, that game could have easily been 34-32. But it was 34-10 because that defense was just pressuring C.J. Stroud so much. So Jackson said, yo, when I get the ball, don't worry, I'm going to turn up. That's exactly what he did, bro.
And I think that's their one of my coworkers is like a diehard Ravens fan, and he mentions this a lot, where it's like they can't get away from running the ball. Like, that is when they try to get too cute with their passing plays and throwing and all that, like, stick to what works. You got Gus Edwards, who's a hell of a running back, who runs hard, runs like he's angry. You got Lamar Jackson, who, as a quarterback, can easily rush for 100 yards. So, combined, you're looking at run game, you can put about 250 on the ground, easy. And it's like, that's how you're going to beat the teams. And that's why, coming up this week, I don't want to see him get into the trap of a throwing match with Patrick Mahomes, because don't go away from what works for your team. Like, you guys got to run the ball early, set your tempo for the game, and just kind of, take it from there. So I'm excited from what I saw from the Ravens in game 1, and we'll see what game 2 brings.
Yeah, bro. Facts. And you just brought up the Chiefs. We'll talk about the Chiefs Bills game, because that game was a little interesting, bro. I think it was back and forth, just like they always promise to give us games like that, man. It's always whenever they face each other. And they deliver, bro. Yo, honestly, like, that's the best rivalry in the NFL right now.
For sure.
And especially in the playoffs, because they face each other in the playoffs 4 times already. And dude,
I don't even think they get up for regular season games anymore. They're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, type shit, right?
In January.
Facts. Yeah, like that, bro. That's the rival right there. And it was just back and forth the whole game. Josh Allen had a great game running and passing. Patrick Mahomes had a great game passing. It was just going back and forth the whole game. The only thing that came down to it was were 3 things, actually. One, a Stephon Diggs bomb that he dropped that looked horrendous. That shit was horrible. I don't know why the fuck he went for the ball like that to try to put it in the breadbasket. He could have gone up and got it on top of him. But I'm not a receiver in the NFL. I'm not a pro. So, I'm not a coach. So it's maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Yeah. But then the second one was a Josh Allen throw in his last drive.
That throw that he underthrew.
That it probably would have been right on the numbers. The corner was right behind. I think it was Stephon Diggs, or I think Khalid Shakur, maybe.
The corner was right behind him, and I think whoever they had playing like middle of the field was also slightly behind him. It was like a line drive, like it fell in the middle of the field open. Like there was nobody that would have gotten to it unless it had enough air where it would have gotten to.
And it would have gotten right in the numbers. It would have been a complete catch, sure. and they probably would have won the game off of that. But since that didn't happen, they go to kick the field goal, and the field goal goes wide. Bro,
right. The announcer cursed as he was talking about it. I don't know if you peeped that, but they were talking about how I
had that game on mute.
How McDermott has been talking. That what?
I had the game on mute because I was doing shit. But yeah.
He's talking about how McDermott Tyler Bass has missed a couple kicks in the past, whatever. But McDermott says that he's gonna die by Tyler Bass, that he trusts him no matter what. And as he's saying all that shit, it's like fucking wide right. I'm like, bro, every time they talk about some shit, like it happens.
Yeah, man.
Bro, it's a 40-something yard kick. Like,
no, and it was breezy over there. It was cold as hell. Like, dude, like.
But it wasn't even that windy. If you look at the flag on the.
It wasn't moving that much?
The goalpost, that shit wasn't even moving. That shit was watching the ball, too. It was looking at the ball like, is it going to go in?
Where you going? Where you going?
Boy? Crazy.
Man, I feel bad for them, bro, because that's their kryptonite, man. The Chiefs are the Bills' kryptonite, and they cannot get over the hump. So the Chiefs will go on to play the Baltimore Ravens. I feel bad for Josh Allen. I think the team might get blown up, bro. I think Stephon Diggs is probably going to get out of there. Hopefully he goes to play with his brother. Please, por Dios. Por Dios, please. Josh Allen is their franchise.
Nice.
That would be nice. No, fire.
But, bro.
CeeDee Lamb and Stephon Diggs.
Sorry to sidetrack.
No, you're good. You're good.
How many great teams do the Cowboys need to have to get over the hump, bro? Y'all have had CeeDee Lamb and then Brandon Cooks. Y'all had CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. Y'all have had, like, the list goes on as, like, dynamic duo receivers. And then you had Zeke, and then you had Zeke and Pollard. And then it's like, and you got Pollard who's taking the keys. And it's like, yo, what do y'all need to get that shit figured out? Because even if you tell me, oh, now we got CD and Stephon Diggs, I'm going to be like, all right, y'all have had variations of that in the past. And it's like, damn, y'all need some sage or some limpieza or some shit in the AT&T Stadium.
First of all, suck my balls. Second, we need Jesus. And third, I think it's kind of true what some analysts say, man. I think it's the fact that Jerry Jones just puts the pressure on him. And when you have that star on your helmet, man, the pressure comes. Yeah. In the 90s, a lot of people put us to be America's team. And honestly, we shied away from that shit. And all that pressure builds up, and it's just tough to accommodate for it. And you saw it in the last game, dude. Like, our defense was just not there, and Dak Prescott wasn't there until the last 2 minutes of the second quarter. And then the second half, he played well. He played extremely well, actually. But our defense couldn't get us back in the game, so we just got shitted on by fucking Jordan Love, and they scored on 6 of 7 drives. Not in field goals, they scored. Man, forget that, bro. I don't want to talk about
that. Fuck that. We was talking about Chief Bills. We were talking about Josh Allen.
Yeah, I think Josh
Allen, they're going to blow up the team.
Yeah, but I think Josh Allen is the franchise there. I don't think you should go away from him, bro. Honestly, he's a great fucking quarterback. He does make mistakes for sure, but, he's just going to improve on that. I think you got to set your team around him, sign him again, give him another extension, whatever the case is. James Cook, I think you bring him back. He had a great season. I don't even think you should shy away from Stephon Diggs, but I think he's going to be on the other side of the spectrum. I think Diggs is going to want to be out. I think he's going to be like, yo, man, like, I'm just tired of this, bro. Yeah, I'm tired of the cold. I'm tired of them losing. I'm tired of all this bullshit. Like, I'm pretty sure he's going to want to be out. And then another thing I want to bring up, because I saw Shannon Sharp saying some shit about this, and I completely agree. How is Von Miller playing 14 games and don't get 1 sack?
And they paid him. They paid him when they got him.
14 games.
Yeah.
Now 1 sack. Only 5 tackles.
5 tackles and 4
5 tackles. Ladies and gentlemen, Von Miller only had 1. No, he did not have a sack. I'm sorry. He had 0 sacks and 5 tackles in 14 games. That's my guy, bro. I love Von Miller. He's a great defensive end, man. But
he's on the same spectrum as like Xavier Howard. Like, what he once was is like, you're paying a guy for what he was, not what he is.
Yeah,
and bro. I think it's like, bro, if you're on a championship contender and you can't get inspired enough to get more than, I know players.
And he's a Super Bowl winner.
Yeah,
2-time.
There's players
2-time.
There's players who get 5 tackles a game.
Bro.
You're talking about for a season, an extended season that had 2 extra games in the postseason. Like
And
that
against
can't
a
be.
crucial game against one of
Yeah,
the best quarterbacks in the league, if not the best quarterback in NFL history, in my opinion, Patrick Mahomes.
facts.
You gotta get a sack, man. That sack maybe ultimately changes up the game, and the Chiefs don't have 27; they only have 21 or
Yeah,
20. Yeah, 20. Like,
yeah,
dude, I don't know,
yeah,
man. I don't know, but that's Buffalo's kryptonite, man. That shit ain't going away for a long time. Because this man,
yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, is 6 years as a starter and has been to 6 AFC championship games. This guy is not going
Insane.
nowhere. Nowhere.
The thing that I find a little unfair sometimes though is that like when you have such greatness in someone like Patrick Mahomes, everybody else's greatness gets diminished because
Diminished.
it's not as great as Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
Whereas
And
like
it's fucked up because
it's
he's only
fucked
been
up
there
because
6 years.
yeah, Josh Allen played a very good game. Like he played almost a perfect game. Like he was playing a Lamar Jackson type game where he was rushing like crazy, throwing the ball, making plays. Sure, you can point to 3 mistakes he made in the game.
No,
Sure.
no interceptions though.
No interceptions. Like overall, he played lights out. And it's like, it's still not enough to be the worst team that Patrick Mahomes has played on. Like, that's where it's like, I think for Josh Allen, it's just kind of staying the course. And for the Bills, is to just hope to pluck one ring. Like, just get one in his career. And I know that's not the mindset you should have or the goal you should have. You should obviously want to win as many as you can. But I think losing, they shouldn't get discouraged. There's a lot of great quarterbacks that have lost a lot of Super Bowls. Like Aaron Rodgers has 1 Super Bowl. Fucking Drew Brees has 1 Super Bowl. Russell Wilson has one. I know people don't look at him as a great quarterback, but there was a point where he was one
He's a
Super
great
Bowl.
quarterback.
Yeah, yeah, but
Those
one
people are
Super
retarded.
Bowl. Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, looked at as great quarterbacks, 2 Super Bowls. So it's like, as long as Josh Allen can, at some point in his career, maybe a year that Patty's injured, maybe a year that, they don't got the best
Knock
team
on
or
wood.
whatever,
Knock on wood. We don't want
knock
that.
on wood, but I'm just saying, like, there's going to be those opportunities where it's like he can pluck one. And it's like, as long as he gets one, I think he'll cement himself at wherever people want to put him on the list, but not everybody. There's only one greatest of all time. Because greatest, there's only one of those. And it's like, I don't think, even when people get on LeBron, they're like, oh, he's trash, whatever. Bro, you're shitting on somebody who's what, the second best player of all time? Like, how many people have played this game and he's the second, but they use that as an argument to kind of like belittle the player as if they're not that good. But it's like, bro, sure, one person's better than me. Point another one out. Like,
Yeah,
you're not
but
gonna
if
be
you're
able to
going
do
off
that.
of straight championships, not you, but I'm saying like people in general, if you're going off of straight championships in a professional sports league on who is the greatest ever, then Michael Jordan is not the greatest ever.
No,
Bill
yeah, for
Russell
sure.
is. Bill Russell has
Yeah,
11 championships.
yeah,
So
yeah,
so
for
what are we
sure.
talking about?
Exactly. That's a whole separate other thing. I think
Yeah,
people
yeah.
just like to use whatever makes their point to kind of, those are the stats and the facts that they'll use. So I just think that for when it comes to Josh Allen and the Bills, like, no need to blow it up, no need to freak out and trade everybody and cut players and whatever. Like, keep building the team and put yourself in a position to get one. Once you get one, then you can figure out, okay, let's try. We got X amount of years left. Let's try and get one more. And you just keep that, like, don't take the loss as like, oh well, I'm not gonna be able to do it with none of these guys. Let's fucking blow the whole thing up. That's why
Some
I'm
teams
I'm
do.
I'm
Some
also
teams
big on
do. That's
like
why.
giving Tua a couple more years. Like, he just got it. He's got players don't get over the hump until they do. And I think if you're an organization that is like gonna put in the time and effort, you'll be the one that reaps the benefit that they do. Like Drew Brees with the Chargers. He played so the first half of his career with the Chargers. He got injured. He wasn't looking the best, and the team was like, you know what? Well, let's move on from him. The Saints get him, and the Saints are the franchise that reaps the benefit of he got one. You know what I mean? Like, I think you just gotta, as an organization, be patient. If you believe in the player, be patient. If you don't believe in him, you move on as quick as you can. That's why with Niners with Trey Lance, Ain't believe in him? Get him out of here. Let's put in Brock Purdy. Uh, a lot of teams I feel like are Mac Jones is a good example. Josh Rosen when the Cardinals had him, they picked him one
Third,
over
third
fucking
overall.
top five, whatever it was. That
Yeah.
was the year of Lamar Jackson too.
Yeah.
They picked him
And
at
Sam
whatever.
Darnold went one.
Sam Darnold went one. No, Baker went one.
Oh, Baker went one. Sam Darnold
Sam
went
Darnold went
two, and
two.
then Josh Rosen went three.
Josh Rosen was three, and Lamar was four.
No, Lamar was 32.
Well, no. I mean, fourth quarterback taken off the board.
No, the fourth quarterback was Josh Allen.
Oh, that's right. Josh Allen,
He
then
went
Josh
seven.
Rosen,
He
and
went seven.
then yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
I remember another side note, but remember when I used to do beer vending?
Uh huh.
I worked the game that I think they played Syracuse that year. That it was like one of like the championship games or like a bowl game in Orlando, and I worked the game, and I remember watching it, bro, and I was like, wow, Lamar Jackson had like, bro, he rushed for like almost 200 yards,
With
threw for
five
like
tutties.
yeah,
Yeah,
five
I know what you're
tutties,
talking
like
about.
crazy as far. I was like, yo, if the Dolphins get a chance to draft this guy, we gotta
They
draft
passed
him.
up on him too.
Bro, we got Minka Fitzpatrick, which was a good pick. If you're looking at it
Yeah.
subject like as the player we got, he ended up being a great NFL player. We traded him away
Yeah.
a couple years later for some bullshit, but as the player, we got a solid player. But as far as need, bro, we needed a quarterback. We didn't need we had Ryan Tannehill still. Like
Yeah.
on the last year or two that we had left on his like I think it was like 1 year left, bro. You get a guy like Lamar Jackson at 11 or 12, whatever we picked. Come on, bro. I was like, oh, we're gonna get him, and we got Minka, and I was like, ah, fuck. And then the Ravens end up getting who they got a tight end first. Who'd they get?
Yeah,
Um,
because then the Ravens traded up at the end to
yeah, in
get
the last
Lamar.
pick of the draft, and they got him. Who was the tight end that they got, bro? Uh, it's just gonna
I
piss
don't
me
know.
off.
I don't
Keep
know.
it going. I'll look it up.
But just to end it on this with the Chiefs and Bills, if people out there who want to blame Josh Allen, let me tell you how this game went down for Josh Allen. 186 yards, one passing TD. Not so great, but he made up for it with his running.
Yeah.
72 yards, two TDs. They ran it in with him, right? If anybody wants to put blame on anybody in the offense, because a lot of people do, a lot of sports fans, they like to blame when it comes to the offensive play on how shit goes down. And especially in the NFL, they like to blame the quarterback. But if you want to
Yeah.
blame it anybody in offensive status, Stephon Diggs only caught 3 passes for 21 yards on 8 targets.
Crazy.
I said, I'm going to leave it like that. The Chiefs will play the Ravens in the conference championship. Just to get a quick predictions real quick because we got a little bit of time left. But Ravens, Chiefs, who you got?
Hayden Hurst. That's who they drafted.
Hayden Hurst. Oh, that's right. Now he's in
Yeah.
Carolina.
Yeah. Which was a solid tight end, but it wasn't.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Mark Andrews is better. And likely?
Oh yeah, and likely. Talk to him.
That's what you should trade for, motherfucker.
Who I got for what? Ravens Chiefs.
Ravens, Chiefs. Yep.
Ravens Chiefs, bro. I know it's hard to
It's
pick.
probably
against,
the second game, but
yeah, it is the second game. I know it's hard to pick against Patty, but I feel like the Ravens. Something about this team, bro, that I think they got it. Like,
same.
I'm gonna look like an idiot on Sunday when Patrick Mahomes comes and does the same thing he always does every year. But
It happens.
as far as like I feel like the Ravens are the better team. I feel like the
Overall.
Ravens deserve it more. They've been a better team all season. I feel like the Chiefs are picking up some steam right now, but the Ravens have been that all year, and I think it's their game to lose. Like they're at home. They got the better offense. They got the better defense. They've got just as great as a quarterback. They've got just as great as a head coach. I'm sure you can give the edge to the Chiefs because of history, but I think John Harbaugh is a Super Bowl winning coach, and he's led great teams over his career with the Ravens. He knows what it takes, and Lamar
Above
Jackson,
500 record.
yeah, for sure. And Lamar Jackson is like, bro, him or Patty, like you could give me whichever one, I'll be happy. So it's like I think the Ravens deserve to win the game, and I think that they will win the game. I think it's going to be close. I give it like a low 30s to high 20s. Like that's kind of where I'm at with with the way the game's going to shake out. I think it'll be a last drive kind of situation, and either the Ravens defense will step up or the Ravens offense will step up, and they'll either score or get the stop to win the game.
Yeah, bro.
That's,
Very, very
that's
well
my
said. I definitely got the Ravens winning for sure. I just think that their defense is way better, even though the Chiefs got, again, a Hall of Fame quarterback already, only 6 years in. Like, he's doing work
crazy,
for sure. He's doing work.
crazy.
But this is going to be the best rushing defense and the best passing defense he's going to go up against. Not saying that he can't
Yeah.
overcome it, but I think it's just going to take it over the top. I think Baltimore's going to actually come in there and not dominate, but they're going to do what they need to do to stop Mahomes on certain particular drives that will benefit the Baltimore Ravens offense. Lamar Jackson's going to be Action Jackson. He's going to do his thing, rushing and passing. I think Baltimore goes over the hump and they go to the Super Bowl finally in the Lamar
Nice.
Jackson era for sure.
Yeah. Please, no Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl. I can't take it.
The NFL is going to do everything they can to put Taylor Swift
I
out
know they
there.
are. I know that it's going to be the Ravens versus the Chiefs and the refs and all the
Yeah,
Taylor Swift fans.
literally,
So
literally.
we'll see.
All right, the last two games of the divisional round, we'll run through this quick because the Lions and Buccaneers, it was a back and forth game. The only thing that it
Yeah.
really came down to was at the end when Baker Mayfield had the last drive to himself. And just like I've always been alluding to on this show and in the past with Baker Mayfield, the guy is a dog. Love that guy as a football player, as a quarterback, and even as a person, I've heard things about him that is just dope. And he's great. He just can't clutch, man. He can't
Yeah.
clutch, and you saw it on that drive. He threw a pick right to. Some will say that it wasn't right to the linebacker. I think it was in the vicinity of the linebacker. He just an athletic guy, and he made the
Yeah,
catch.
he made a hell of a play.
He made a hell of a play for sure, but I
Yeah.
still think it was in the vicinity where Baker should have put a little more arc into it. And
Yeah.
the pressure got to him. He threw away that pick, and it happens. And
Yeah.
that's what's been happening. I really think his whole career. But he
Yeah.
took the Buccaneers far. A lot of people didn't even think the Buccaneers were going to make the playoffs, let
Yeah.
alone get to the divisional round.
Yeah.
The Lions
They beat the Eagles.
and they beat the Eagles. They beat the Eagles.
The Eagles
They
were a lot of
dominated the
teams-
Eagles.
They dominated the Eagles. So it's like that was,
Yeah.
I think Baker's thing has always been that he's clutch until you need him to be. And then
He's clutched in the first 3 quarters.
Yeah, like that first game, again, nobody was expecting him to win that game. Nobody was expecting the Bucks to come out and dominate the Eagles, but he did it. And then when they played the Lions, it's like, oh, well, if he did it against the Eagles, he can do it against the Lions. Like now there's expectations, and now they want him to win because they got past the first round, and then it's like he blows it. So it's like
yeah.
I think as long as for his career we give him zero expectations, he might fuck around and win a Super Bowl.
Maybe. I think the Buccaneers should re-sign him. I think they should re-sign Mike
Yeah.
Evans as well. I think if they let both of them go, that's going to be tough for their offense. Their
Yeah.
defense is pretty good. I think their secondary needs to get a little better with pass coverage. I think they give up too many balls, just like the Lions pass coverage. Mike Evans had like 100. Let me see, eight catches for 147 yards and a TD, which should have been 2 TDs, but they made a great tackle and they stopped him.
Evans is so slept on as a receiver.
So slept on. So
Constantly has 1,000-yard seasons, and everybody's like, man, he's mid.
every
It's
year.
like, all right.
Every year.
Find me other receivers that have put up about 9 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons.
Yeah. And he had Jameis Winston for like the first 2 or 3.
And Baker Mayfield.
And,
like,
and Ryan
like,
Fitzpatrick.
yeah.
So the Lions move on, and they will play the Niners. The Niners beat the Packers 24-21, which was a back and forth game. But in my opinion, the only reason that the Packers stayed in this game because the Niners were playing all right on defense. They weren't playing like horrible, but they weren't playing great. But my thing was that when Deebo Samuel went out, it changed the trajectory of the offense. It was tough to actually do what they wanted to do because now you go from one game plan, now you got to switch up your whole game plan on offense, and you gotta involve other players more than what you really wanted to. And I think that changed the trajectory. The Packers could have won. They should have won at the end of that game. But another missed field goal to end the game. And then
Damn.
the Niners came back with that missed field goal and took advantage, and they scored. They scored. And
Yeah.
that just won them the game right there. So the Niners and Lions will be playing against each other. You got anything to say on the Niners and Packers, or you just want to give me your predictions for the Niners and Lions?
I mean, yeah, no, Niners and Packers. I feel like was kind of a mirror of Texans, Ravens. You know, a young quarterback in Jordan Love that made great first steps in his first year. Beat the Cowboys again. It wasn't supposed to. My bad. But he made great first strides, and it's like now they're gonna rebuild and be back next year. And it's like I wasn't expecting them to beat the Niners. I wasn't expecting them to beat the Cowboys. So it was like I think you learn as much as you can, you go as far as you can as a team, and to your point, what talking more like moving it forward to this week's game, I think losing Debo was big time, and now that kind of evens the playing field for this game, and it's like now I'm looking at the
No,
Niners
he's gonna
kind of look
play.
like
He's gonna play.
Lions. Oh, he's gonna play?
He's gonna play.
Oh shit. Well, a hobbled Debo Samuel.
Hey, it's better than a lot of receivers.
It's better, yeah. It's better than no Debo Samuel, for sure. That's how I felt with Tyreek Hill all year. It's better than a hobbled Tyreek Hill than
100%, dude. Hell yeah. He ain't gonna give you 100, but he'll give you 60.
But yeah, give you 40, 60, something. I'll give you my pick. I think with my heart, I want to choose the Lions. I want the Lions to make the Super Bowl. I think Ravens Lions um is what at least I would like to see. Um I think, either way you slice it, whether it's Niners in the Super Bowl or Lions in the Super Bowl, I think you're gonna get a solid team from the NFC to represent. Uh I think if I'm picking with my mind, I gotta go with the Niners. They have a more dynamic offense. They've kind of been here before. Um, I think they're a more balanced team. Their coaching is more experienced. Their quarterback is more well. No, Jared Goff is experienced.
He's been to a Super Bowl.
But I've been to a Super Bowl. But I just think overall the game favors the Niners if you're looking at it from like an analytical perspective.
And they're home.
And they're home. That's why they got home court. Like everything kind of favors them, which is why my heart wants to go with the Lions because I feel like it's a winnable game for the Lions. Even though everything favors the Niners, I don't think it favors them by that much. Where it's like Detroit should not win this game at all. Like Detroit should and can win this game if they bring their A game, if they bring their best game, and all they're worried about is Sunday. I think they have a real shot at beating a Niners team that is a little hobbled, is a little like Brock Purdy still got to kind of prove that he can do it. He didn't finish playing last year's AFC Championship game because he got hurt. There's a lot of things that are like up in the air, and I feel like these teams are kind of like mirrors of each other. I think the Lions are what the Niners were before they solidified themselves as the Niners, as like this consistent team. But it's like you got to do it once to be able to do it consistently, and I think that this might be the year that the Lions can, like they're already firing. They remind me of the Giants in 2007, where they were like even though they weren't the wild card team, they were kind of not favored in every game that they played. The Lions had first game was the Bucks, right?
The Lions?
Yeah.
No,
who did they play for
was
first
the
game?
Rams.
The Rams, A lot of people were like that was like a toss up. Then they played the Bucks, and I feel like the Bucks were more, they were favored to win the game. But then now they're in San Fran, and it's like they're doubted again. And I think they can be kind of that team that the underdog story, the one that kind of galvanizes the team, and they get their shit right at the right time. And my heart wants to go with the Lions, but I think if I had to put money on it, there was a gun to my head, I would pick the Niners to win the game.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. It's dope that the Detroit Lions, they made history and finally going to the NFC Championship game in their franchise history. That's super dope. But I just think the Niners just have more game, really. The Lions, they have great offensive power. They're gonna score. They'll probably put up 30 points, maybe 25 or 30 points. The Niners are going to do the same thing. I just think that what ultimately comes down to is the secondary for the Lions. I think especially that C.J. Gardner-Johnson is putting fuel to the fire on Debo and every other receiver and all this.
Yeah.
Like, their secondary is not that good. Just like I alluded to it earlier. Mike Evans, 147 yards, 1 TD, should have been 2. That happens. And the week before that, like, they gave up a lot to Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp as well. Like, if you're not playing good with the receivers, you're going to end up ultimately losing the game, especially against a better defense in the Niners than the last 2 games that you played.
Yeah.
I think Debo's going to snap. You probably have like 2 touchdowns. Maybe Kittle has 1. Brock Purdy might throw for 3, maybe even 4. Like, dude, yeah, McCaffrey's another one out there that it's going to be hard to stop. But I like the Lions' run defense. I think the run defense is pretty solid. I just don't see excuse me. I just don't see the Niners losing. I've picked them since the beginning of the year, since week 3, to go to the Super Bowl. And honestly, I think my prediction is about to come true. Like, I obviously wanted the Cowboys, but you know, shit happens, and you got to be analytical about the situation, and that's what I've been since the get. And I just don't see the Niners losing, man. I think they're probably the best team out of Detroit and them. The best team in the NFL right now left, the 4 teams that are left, I think, are the Baltimore Ravens for sure. I think they win it all, but that's a different conversation. But I don't see the Lions stopping that Niners offense against the receivers, and I think the Niners take it for sure.
Yeah, for sure. There's too many weapons on the Niners offensive side of the ball to choose them to lose wholeheartedly. I think it's like, when you really look at it, you got Debo, even if he's not healthy, Kittle, Ayuk, McCaffrey, Purdy. Like, that's a star-studded offense right there. You know, and you're talking about a defense that's slightly sus, that has given up huge offensive outputs to Baker Mayfield and the Bucks and Matthew Stafford and the Rams. And now you got a Niners team coming in at home. Like, you know, I think the Lions are playing with like fairy dust and magic and hope, and the Niners are playing with like X's and O's and talent. And it's like, we'll see kind of which one prevails. You know, is it the storybook ending, or is it, you know, we get brought back to reality and have what I would think would be an amazing Super Bowl with Chiefs Niners or Ravens Niners, whatever that would be. I think it's gonna boil down to a really good Super Bowl. So
facts.
Just what you want as a fan.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
Dolphins Cowboys next year.
Please, baby, please.
The Lions give me hope, because now we were second in longest tenured team without a playoff win. The Rams were first, and then now they obviously got their win. So I feel like we're on the same trajectory. Next year, we might fuck around and be in the AFC Championship.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Hey, I appreciate your time, man. But before we get out of here, let these people know where they could view your content, man, because you got some great stuff out there, especially working with the Miami Heat, baby. I'm making some great videos for them out there, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah, you could follow me on Instagram at Jonnysayword. If you want to listen to my music, you can listen to my music on Spotify, Apple. Same, Jonnysayword. Working on a lot of cool stuff with the Heat this season, and working on some new music as well. So I feel like late 2024, y'all be seeing a lot more of the stuff that I've been working on. So
let's go. I love it. Guys, you know, you can follow me on Twitter at GeorgeMike Perez, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at GMikeMedia_. The podcast, the audio version is available on all podcast platforms, and the video version is on YouTube. And also, if you guys are into sports gambling, I run a Telegram channel called The Degenerates, where we give out daily slips on what to pick, what to win. We making people $25, $50 to $100 a day, and all you gotta do is pay $5 a month, and we got you with the winnings, baby. So in the bottom of the screen, you're gonna see the link. If not, hit me up at one of my socials, DM me, and we'll get this shit on and popping. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, because I know you always put your music at the end of the episode, right?
Yeah.
It like comes back, the intro music.
Uh-huh.
All right, so bring it back in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, thank you again, my dog. And you know I'm gonna have you on for another episode later on, baby. Talk more
Sir,
Miami
when the
Heat
Heat make it to the
basketball.
finals, baby.
Well, maybe trade deadline. Maybe we make a splash. Let me get a big wave. Hey, Dollar, my dog. Thank you again, bro.
Dollar, man, for sure.